So I've just got a few questions, or should we say I've got a bit of a theory here and there about the Dan Markel case, particularly involving Jeffrey Lacasse and Katherine Magbanua. Obviously, the Adelsons are involved in this video as well. So, but before I start, quick disclaimer, especially in this video. So, my name's Dawn, this is Lounge Bar Crime. Everything you hear in this video is from my own research. It's my opinion. Get that right. It's my opinion and it's for entertainment purposes only. That out of the way, let's get to it. Sorry, quick drink before I start rabbiting on. So, what's made me do this video is been watching Jeffrey Lacasse's videos, his interviews and on the stand, and you know, one of the things that struck me about Jeffrey was, I just thought, could you imagine having to go for therapy after dating somebody, particularly the length of time he was dating her and what it all encompassed in being around her and involved with her, even before Dan Markel was murdered. He had problems with her because she was, he said behind closed doors, the minute you close that door, you know, she was a different personality completely. And it just made me go through, I mean, obviously we've all that are into this case have all watched these videos with the Adelsons, well, Wendy on the stand, and Jeffrey Lacasse, Magbanua, you know, all of them, and in the interviews as well, in the interrogation room with the detectives. And yeah, I just kept thinking about Jeffrey and what he must have been through. And the other point is, he's like, really, he's the backbone of this case. He must still be quite worried and concerned every morning. He gets up every night before he goes to bed. I can't imagine what that guy is going through personally, being involved in this case. Going through this case like we all do, I've got sort of two theories, and I'll tell you why I've got these theories. Obviously, it's guesswork for all of us because we don't know all the evidence as yet. Hopefully, Georgia Kappelman has got a lot more up her sleeve. So we can only go off what we know so far and what we presume, you know, our opinions. And I've been looking at Lacasse and Magbanua, and I am wondering whether they were headhunted right from the start. The reason I say that is because Charlie got with Magbanua. There was only like, I think about a month or two in between Wendy and Jeffrey Lacasse getting together also. Now, the other thing is, normally if most couples that get together, if you've got that person around your children, then obviously that person's supposed to be serious to you, and you would have them around your parents as well. And what doesn't add up for me is that Jeffrey Lacasse said that he was very close with the children. He got to know them and he got very close with them. But when Donna and Harvey came down to look after them and they was going on a date, after the date, he wasn't invited back into the house when Donna and Harvey was there. There wasn't any, oh, come in and have a nightcap with my mum and dad, or there was none of that. And he also said, and he said this on the stand as well, that when they went to, I think they went to like a function or an event or something, and Donna and Harvey stayed on the opposite side of the room. He said that they were polite. He did say they were polite, but they were very cold towards him. Now, what doesn't add up for me is Donna wanting the best for her grandchildren. She wants Wendy to meet somebody else. She knows that this guy is around her grandchildren. So, and like I said, she wants the best for her. And yet, she did not entertain him at all. Now, put that aside a minute. Say that was just a Donna thing. You know, a busybody mother doesn't think he's good enough for her daughter. Put that aside. What about Harvey? At this function, this event, whatever it was, why did Harvey not come over and be friendly with Jeffrey Lacasse? But he didn't. They all stayed away from him, which I find is very, very strange. Now, when I said a minute ago, headhunted, I don't mean that Wendy sat down or went searching for him, because we know that they were introduced together through her friend Jane, I think she's called. So I don't mean like that. I mean that he was. They were on the lookout. Now, when I say they, I mean Wendy and Charlie were on the lookout for likely candidates, let's say, for this job. And I've got a kind of a twist on that theory as well, where it wasn't Charlie, it was just Wendy. But I'll get to that in a minute. This is just my opinion. You don't have to go with it. In fact, I'd be interested to hear what you think. But so he met her. They got together in the fall of 2013. By 2014, it started getting serious. The same with Magbanua, right? In March 2014, Wendy took Jeffrey to go and meet Charlie in Miami with Magbanua, and he'd heard all this about Magbanua and blah blah blah, and he was expecting it. You can tell by the evidence that he gives on the witness stand, he was expecting a lot more than what met his eye with Magbanua for various reasons. So he was a bit shocked by that. Now, he also said that during that time that Wendy was very jittery when they got back to Charlie's house at the night time. Wendy was really jittery, and she left Charlie with Jeffrey Lacasse, and one of the mates came along as well at one stage. Magbanua had left, and I'm wondering whether was Wendy jittery because she knew that Charlie was going to sound out Jeffrey Lacasse to be involved in this. Now, in the hot tub, Charlie was talking quite crudish about different people. He was talking about the people that he knew. He was talking to him in a way that you wouldn't talk to somebody at a first meeting. You just wouldn't. And he was being the big I am, and yeah, he was letting him know that he was a character. And I wondered, and excuse me, Wendy didn't join him in the hot tub. She left him to it, and I wondered whether did she leave him to it to see if Charlie could see whether Lacasse was up to the job. I don't know. I don't know about that. Now, we do know, obviously, that Magbanua was the one that hired the hitmen for Wendy and Charlie, allegedly. So we think. So, right, here's my point. Wendy had already also sounded, in my opinion, I feel that when Wendy was telling Jeffrey Lacasse, that Charlie wanted to hire a hitman, and about the TV because it's cheaper than hiring a hitman. I wondered then whether Wendy was also sounding out Jeffrey Lacasse. You see, Jeffrey Lacasse wasn't on big bucks, and my opinion, I don't think for a minute Wendy would go for somebody of Lacasse's stature in where he is in his life financially. I think she's looking for, or would have been looking for, somebody with a lot more of that. Lacasse, for me, did not fit the bill for her, so that was quite suspect for me. He also said that he was kind of embarrassed about where he lived, or something to that effect, that for her, because she had, a really nice place and all this, that it's as though he didn't feel as though he was up to standard for her neither. So that was a bit suspect. So, and I did think that when, she was dropping these bombs about, Charlie said this, Charlie said that, I don't know whether she was waiting to see if Jeffrey Lacasse would say, I'm in, I'll help you, or I know somebody, or I don't know. And if he had done, then she would have dropped him right in it as being the jealous boyfriend over the husband. So I don't know, and then try and sort of like keep Charlie out of it. I don't know. And Charlie was like the sounding board in that hot tub to see if Lacasse would be up to it. That was just my thought at one stage. Just as I've mentioned there about Jeffrey Lacasse not really being a good suitor for Wendi Adelson, I also think the same with Magbanua for Charlie Adelson. I don't think he had massive intentions with her. I think he probably found out that she knew maybe likely candidates, and he was reeling her in. Let's not forget, he left her out there. When she got arrested, he didn't do anything about it. He left her there. He didn't care. There was no love there. There was nothing there. He didn't try and do anything about it. He left her there to, as they say, he didn't bother. And I think the same intentions he had with Katherine Magbanua was the same as what Wendy had with Jeffrey Lacasse. Neither of them cared about either of them. And also, none of them were exclusive neither. Wendy said on the stand, didn't she, that Charlie always had a different girlfriend, and he always had about 3 on the go at once. And didn't it turn out that Wendy was also seeing somebody as well? So, yeah. So why would you be seeing somebody else if you're introducing a fella to your kids, but you're not introducing that fella to your parents and getting them close to your parents, which I would imagine you'd do that before involving them with your kids. But no, she did that the other way around. So, there was 2 things. There was a couple of things there in common that they both did, and they both did with these 2 people, which I just found that just too much of a coincidence, really. A bit strange. Now, let's just say, for instance, that Wendy was not involved in this whatsoever. She knew nothing about it. Then, therefore, the meeting where she was supposed to have gone and met Jeffrey Lacasse's parents between the 11th of July and the 17th of July, she cancelled. She couldn't do it. So, if you're serious about a guy and you're letting him see your kids and he wants to take you to see his parents, you go. If you're interested in them being around your children, you're looking at them as a future partner, also a future boyfriend at the very least, and you would go and meet his parents. Why would you cancel that? but she cancelled it. So, and I know a lot of this, what I'm talking about is, it's out there and we all know these things. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do the connection between him and Magbanua and Wendy and Charlie. Both of them behave in the same way with both these people. So you can see where I'm going with this. See, I think if he was just going to be the fall guy, I think that Wendy and Charlie said too much to Jeffrey Lacasse. And this is why I mean, yeah, it appears to be quite clear that she was going to try and, well, she did try to make him as a fall guy. It was there, it was on the witness stand, it came up as part of the evidence that she was planting seeds for him to think that. But I actually believe that she told Jeffrey Lacasse too much, and so did Charlie Adelson, to initially want him as a fall guy. I think I think originally the idea of telling him so much and why they hated Dan and, you know, all these bad things that Dan was, I think it was to turn him to, yeah, for him to actually be involved in the hit. And then when they realised he wasn't going to be doing that, because he and Magbanua are from two completely different planets. So where Magbanua was up for it, Jeffrey Lacasse wasn't. Jeffrey Lacasse is a nice guy. So I think during all this period, from the beginning of 2014, well, the end of 2013 and into the beginning of 2014 up to the March, that's when they was trying to find this out, Charlie and Wendy. And that's when they realised that Charlie's not going to put himself forward for this. They just seem to say too much to him. Why would you be doing that? But they did, and that didn't make sense to me. So, and he didn't offer anything. And so it was a case of, okay, then plan B, you'll be the fall guy, you'll be the one that falls, you know, in place of Charlie. So that's what I think was going on there. So in that theory that I more or less explained, it's as though I'm saying that Charlie and Wendy plotted this together. That's a possibility because we don't actually know. But I'm not actually saying that. What I'm saying is, I think I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I actually think Wendy plotted this on her own initially. I think she set out to do this a long time before all them emails to her mother. I think she was the word, I can't say the word, like brooming, but with a G. That's what I think she was doing to her family with all them emails to her mother. Like I said in the other email, in the other video, that you know, her mother had said at one stage, "Oh, I'm fed up with this. You know, I'm fed up of listening to you," and she went off the emails. I think that was all a very slow, long process for Wendy, and she was planting seeds, knowing that they would come up with something because they had the money and the means, or they'd find the means. So my actual theory is that I think Wendy started this herself with the family, and knowing that Donna would rope in Charlie. I don't know what part she thought her father was going to play in it, other than the money side of it, the ka-ching side. And she let them believe that they were doing it for her, and it was like their idea. when I think in actual facts she put that many subliminals in their heads that she manipulated and gaslighted them until it was that they thought they'd come up with the idea. But I don't think she actually asked for him to do it, but I don't think she knew that she didn't need to. And there's another reason why I think this as well. When you listen to her in that interview room, she says in that interview room, even my family, who felt like I had been mistreated, would never have done something like this. Now, they weren't talking about her family, so why? She was, to me, she dropped Charlie in it pretty quickly in the game. Jeffrey Lacasse. See, to Wendy, I don't think Wendy really cared as much, really, who went down for this, whether it was Jeffrey Lacasse or her own brother, to be honest. So, and I think she dropped her own brother in it quite a lot more than hinting at Jeffrey Lacasse, mentioning it to the TV guy, mentioning it to Jeffrey Lacasse. So she really did put Charlie's name out there as a candidate for this murder. So that to me was pretty strange. And after Charlie, it was her family. Don't forget, if you're enjoying this video just a little tidgy bit, press the tidgy like button for me. Now, if we go back to that picture that I put in the last video again, I'll put it up there for you. That face of Wendy's only came about when they were insinuating that Wendy was part of this. They did ask her on the stand, could it have been any of your family? And do you believe it could be? Absolutely not. I mean, she's got to say that. She's not going to sit there and go, well, actually, yeah, I think my mother's got something to do with it, or I think Charlie has. She can't do that. So she's got to say absolutely. And she gets a bit short, saying, I think you're taking my words out of context and everything. But the only time she shows that much venom in her face is when they're actually pointing fingers at her. That's when the claws come out. That's when that face comes out. Now, she doesn't get them feelings for her family when they're talking about a family. Oh no, I've not spoken to my family about it because my attorney's told me not to. She's very like that. But don't point your finger at her, because that's what you get. So I think, like a lot of people say, no, Charlie did it for her and she didn't know anything about it. He thought he was helping her out. No, I don't think that at all. I think she was there right at the very start, from 2013, by putting these wheels in motion. I definitely think this is more about Wendy. Well, it's all about Wendy. Lacoste said that, but this all started through Wendy. I mean, we know the obvious evidence about, them knowing when Dan was leaving town and going to New York. There was only Wendy that could have given out all this information and everything. So there's a lot of obvious signs, really. But I'm just wondering whether Wendy has had over the whole family, and whether she's done that for the money. Whether I don't think that she would have expected anything to happen with her mum and dad. I mean, I think she's had them over as well, but I don't think she expects or expected anything to happen with her mum and dad. But I'm wondering whether she wanted Charlie out of the way, because Charlie's going to be half the inheritance, isn't he, from her parents? So I don't think she's got that much loyalty to her brother. Or there's nothing that there's nothing coming out in her that, I mean, my siblings, you, know, you are with your siblings. You're just so protective over them. There's not that with Wendy at all. So yeah, I think that Charlie thinks it's all gone to pot because he tried to help her out, and obviously Magbanua, all the tapes and everything else that they got on them. So he thinks he slipped up, but I think he slipped up through first listening to Wendy, because I think she's had him over just as much as she tried to have Lacasse over and Magbanua. I mean, she sat back. That girl's got 2 kids. It's her own fault. It's her own fault. Ka-ching, ka-ching. That's what she did it for. It's her own fault. She deserves to be there. But Wendy sat back. She's watched her. She was going to watch. She's going to watch Charlie. She's going to sit back and watch Charlie. And if it had been Lacasse, great. Whatever, he would have, he would have done it. He would have gone down. But I think the fact that Charlie's been caught, I don't think that she gives one iota about it, because it's all ka-ching signs to her as well, because she gets any inheritance, or it's only Charlie. Charlie's done, because she thinks she's so smart. Charlie's done. And I don't think she thinks for a minute that or she didn't think for a minute that anything, a mother or a father would be involved in this and would be put on the stand for anything or go down for anything. That hadn't occurred to her. But they can help her mastermind and everything. But yeah, she'd have them there to look after the kids while she got on with her life. The money would be there. Charlie would do his time. If it wasn't Charlie, it'd be Lacasse. It doesn't really matter. But all the money would still be there one way or another. So I believe she was behind this. I think she set up the whole family one way or another. But yeah, the thing that got me thinking about doing this video was through watching Lacasse in all his interviews. I mean, I know all of us have watched these videos over and over again. You just can't stop them. You just can't, because you're just trying to rack your head around everything. But watching Jeffrey Lacasse, and I thought that guy could have ended up. He could have ended up in prison, and that woman would have carried on. She would have carried on with her life, and Charlie, and the whole lot of them, and they would have watched him just rot away in prison. And the more you listen to his tapes, to him on the witness stand and watch him in them interrogation rooms, you can just tell he's such a nice guy, and you can also tell how it's affected him so much. It really has affected him. And sometimes it's funny because he looks like he can't wait to speak, and he can't stop talking, and he says loads. But I think that is because he's just so intent on speaking the truth and getting it out there, so that the right people do get put away. And he just wants to tell them everything that he knows but in between, and like he says, he's he's been in therapy. So I can't imagine what he has gone through. Anyway, this was just my thoughts on it. So I kind of did sort of think, was Charlie and Wendy, was it them two at the start? But no, I think it was Wendy. Charlie thinks it was him and her, but it wasn't. I think in my opinion, it wasn't. It was her. She's manipulated the whole lot of them, and she's not actually showing any kind of emotion whatsoever at all when she goes on that witness stand, until it comes to her, till it gets to her, where she's shown more emotion about the divorce deposition than she did when she was being questioned about, do you think anybody's involved in this from your family? Absolutely not. Start talking to her about the divorce deposition, and her nostrils are going. She's got that shallow breathing, and her voice keeps breaking, and then we get that face. That doesn't add up to me. That doesn't add up. She's quite happy for you to point the finger at her family, but don't dare point. Now, if she was innocent, then that you can understand that, but not to this degree. And to me, her innocence does not add up. It doesn't add up. Somebody had to tell them when, what his routine was that day, when he was going to go to New York, what date it had to be done by. Somebody had to do all that, and there was only one person that had all that information. So far as I know, so far as what we've seen so far, and that was Wendy. So that's my thoughts on it so far. But I'm quite happy to listen to your comments below and tell me what you think. You might have, you might come up with something and say something totally different that I hadn't even thought of, and yeah, I'm open to that, and to go down that lane and start having a look at that as well. I'm open to anything, to listen to anything about this case, other than that Wendy was innocent. I mean, I've heard that a couple of times. Wendy didn't know nothing. No, I'm sorry, I'm not even going to start on that one, because that don't add up at all. So anyway, thanks for listening. I've just put on the case, I've just done an update on the Sarah Boone case. I'm going to keep coming back with update. I mean, I don't know, I might watch some more videos, in another week, probably the ones that I've already watched as well, because I just can't stop watching them, and listening as well to Fancy Fiction's tapes, and also go and have a look at AA Legal Focus, Judah, reading the transcripts, the one that she put on the other day with June, Charlie Adelson's ex-girlfriend. Go and have a listen to that. It's absolutely amazing. She had me laughing. She had her absolutely. She's missed away there as a lawyer. But go and have a listen. It's brilliant. But anyway, come back to me. Don't stay there. Come back. Yeah. The more I listen and the more I hear all these tapes and things like that, then I'm going to carry on doing these updates, and yeah, nowhere near finished. Obviously, Charlie's not going to trial until 2023, along with Sarah Boone. But I mean, I think that it's supposed to be around February or something like that. I've got a feeling it's going to be later though, because of holidays and things like that. So we're not too sure. So yeah. But for now, that's it. I'm gonna sign off, and in between, and take care, stay safe, and come back. Bye.